Won't be the first time. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well. Great to hear about everybody's business, and great to hear that some of you have been able to continue trading. Some of you have obviously haven't, and that's unfortunate. And you know, the time that the phase that we're entering now is really where everybody needs to start getting more visible with their businesses, if you haven't already. So as we enter this sort of phase of kind of lockdown lifting, it's a good opportunity to sort of start to look at other marketing channels that you might be able to take advantage of, especially if you're a local business. So the objective of today, I've got some slides, and if we've got time, I'm going to take you through a live campaign build, a live Facebook ad build. So I'm just going to switch on my share screen. So I'm going to run you through some slides first. That was just a little prompt, just in case we forgot. But she's on it. So today is Facebook ads for beginners. Obviously, we've only got about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes tops. So I can't teach you everything about Facebook ads. It's, you know, the breadth of the platform. It's huge, but hopefully the idea of today is to give you three things. So introduce you to the Facebook ads platform, introduce you to some Facebook ads basics, and yeah, as I say, if we've got time, I'll walk you through the setup of one of my campaigns, just so you can kind of get under the bonnet, under the hood, and have a look at the platform itself. So the aim of today, as I said, is really just to switch on some light bulbs, get you thinking about different marketing channels that you could leverage to create awareness, grow your business, find new customers, start more conversations. So firstly, introducing the Facebook ads platform. So if you think about the Facebook ads platform, think of it like a hierarchy. So right at the very top, your business needs what's called a Facebook Business Manager account. And from there, you can manage multiple ad accounts. So it starts with Business Manager at the top. Then in your Ads Manager, that's where you can manage things like audiences that you're reaching out to, your Facebook pixel, which we'll talk about in a minute, any campaigns that you're running, and I've mentioned audiences twice. There we go, first blooper of the day. So under Ads Manager comes the campaign level, and this is where all your individual campaigns will sit within Facebook Ads Manager. And then ad set is Facebook terminology for your audiences. Okay, so you've got Business Manager, Ads Manager, campaigns, all your audiences, which are called ad sets. And then finally, the last piece of the jigsaw is the actual ads itself. So when you take a look at what it looks like in a sort of a flow diagram, you've got Ads Manager at the top, you've got your campaigns, and each campaign you might be running different audiences, you might be testing different audience demographics, and then under each audience set, you might be running a few different variations of your advert. You might be testing different creatives or different copy, and then exactly the same for the second ad you might be running. So, you know, you get most out of Facebook ads when you're testing, when you're running tests on different images or different copy, rather than just running one single advert. I'd always recommend that you test different scenarios, and we'll come on to that a little bit in a minute. So the first step as a business owner, the first thing I would do is set up your Facebook Business Manager account. And if you head to that URL or you write that down, that will take you to a screen where you can, as you see in the top right-hand corner, create a new account. And then within Business Manager, through there, you can then set up your Facebook ad account. Like I say, we're going through it a little bit at breakneck speed, but the idea of today is just to switch on some light bulbs for you. And as I say, just get you thinking. So some of the Facebook ads basics. So the first thing I would start with is, you know, what are you selling on Facebook ads? You know, what's your purpose to be there? So you might be selling a webinar, That might be a paid for webinar, or it might be a free webinar, and you want to get some more bums on seats. You might be running a workshop. You could be selling a physical e-commerce product. You might be selling a coaching course or coaching one-to-ones. You might be selling a longer sort of online course. You might even have an app that you're trying to drive traffic to encourage downloads, or a piece of software, SaaS, software as a service. And finally, you might just be wanting to give something away for free to grow your database and to grow your community. So there's lots of different ideas. There's lots of different angles of products that you can sell. Local services is obviously one of the big ones as well. So that's the first thing, is understanding what you're selling. The second thing is understanding what's your goal for being on Facebook. So it might just be that you're launching a brand new business, a new brand, and you want to get just brand awareness out there, you know, and hope that further on that brand awareness is going to translate into leads and then into sales. You know, I do this a lot with new startups, new businesses. You know, the first thing we need to do is get awareness out there. So that's usually referred to as top of the funnel. You can see in brackets there. And that's where you want to start to warm up some cold audiences, people that haven't heard of you before. The next goal you might have is you might have a brand where people are aware, but you need to turn that awareness into interest. And that's referred to as the middle of the funnel. So top of the funnel is where your cold audiences are. Middle of the funnel is where people have heard of you, and you want to try and sort of drive and convert that brand awareness into interest in your products or services. And then right at the bottom of the funnel, this is where people have engaged with your brand. They've maybe visited your website, downloaded you know, an ebook that maybe you've put out there, and it's all about now converting those people into buyers, which is obviously right at the very bottom of the funnel. So it's just starting to get you to think about, again, if you're a local business, you've got that kind of inner circle, your networking circle, and they will have heard of you. You might even have a slightly broader circle where they've heard of you. But the chances are that kind of wider circle, that 98% of your local population probably haven't heard of your business. So your goal through Facebook ads is to warm them up from awareness to interest to consideration. Now, what's the customer thinking at the different stages? So right at the top of the funnel, they might be aware that they've got a problem. So if you're putting on, let's say if you've got engaged and you've picked the date for your wedding, we've got some wedding photographers and event organizers, you're aware that you need to organize these things. So you're aware that you've got a problem, and your problem is you need local services to tap into to help you bring together your big day. The middle of the funnel is where you start to become aware of different solutions. So you will see ads for, you know, wedding photographers or wedding event organizers or florists or wedding cars. So you'll start to be aware of what the solutions are. And then right at the bottom of the funnel, you start to become aware of the various products and the various brands that can bring about a solution to your problem. So right at the top of the funnel, you're aware that you've got a problem, but you're not aware of necessarily what the solutions are or who the right fit to solve that problem is. And through the Facebook ads platform, you can take people on a bit of a journey that solve each of these pieces of the puzzle. And you know, the way to think about Facebook ads is it's a puzzle, and you're trying to solve the puzzle. You're trying to get to that kind of complete puzzle where customers know you, they like you, they trust you, and they're buying from you. By the way, if you have any questions as we go, do feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll either answer them at the end or come back to you separately if we run out of time. So big sort of warning up front is know your business numbers. And this is really, really important. And I see this all the time, businesses coming unstuck on various platforms, whether that's Google ads or whether that's Facebook ads, because they don't know their basic business numbers. And what you need to understand is, you know, what are you selling? How much profit are you making per sale? Can you work out on average the lifetime value of one of your customers? and do you know what your conversion rates are? So let's say if as a business owner, you've got 10 phone calls today, on average, how many of those 10 inquiries would you convert into a paying customer? You know, that starts to understand what your conversion rates are, and you'll see in a second why that's really important. But also on your website, do you know how much traffic your website's getting? And if you had 100 people visit one of your web pages, how many of them are going to go on to make an inquiry? Is it 1%? Is it one person? Is it 10 people, 10%? How many are going to go on to then pick up the phone or fill in the inquiry form? So it's really important you understand those conversion rates, but also, you know, what's the lifetime value of a customer? Again, we've got, I think, a couple of photographers on. The chances are, let's just say, take an average. If you're doing an event photography job, you might charge them £500. It's probably a bit more than that, might be a bit less, I don't know, but £500. It's unlikely you're going to only do one job for them. So over the course of, say, a 3-year period, how many jobs are you doing for them, and how much is that customer making for you? What's the lifetime value of that customer? And we're not looking for exact numbers. We're just looking for averages, something to guide the next part of the strategy. So this is quite a lot on screen, and I'm just going to try and sort of walk you through it step by step. So down the left-hand side is what you will generally see in your Facebook Ads Manager. You'll see how many impressions your ads have had, and then how many people have then clicked on that ad. And then if you just come across, and hopefully you can see my cursor, you can see there that a good click-through rate is around 1%, especially to a colder audience that's never heard of you. If you're a household brand, if you're a famous business, you would expect that ad click-through rate to be higher than that. 5% is not uncommon, 4 or 5%, but for a cold audience, for a local business, a 1% click-through rate is good. So for you to get 1,000 clicks through to your website, your ad needs to be seen at least 100,000 times, okay? So with a 1% click-through rate, you're gonna get 1,000 clicks through to your website. Now, this is where you need to start to understand, is your website set up to convert at the highest possible rate? Have you got lots of social evidence? I'm trying to think of another word. There's another word for it and I can't think of it. You've got lots of evidence, lots of reviews, lots of case studies, testimonials. Is your website easy to use, easy to navigate? So all of that, will influence what your conversion rate is. So the next step down, so we've driven 1,000 people through to our website. The next step down is, let's say your website converts at 3%, which again, is not bad and is about average for most websites. That means out of your 1,000 visits, you're going to get 30 forms filled in or phone calls, whatever the call to action is. Now, this is where you need to understand, out of the inquiries that you get, how many of those are you then converting into a customer? So again, just taking a real broad average, a third, I would say, is about fair. Some of you might be operating much higher at 50% or 60%, but this is just to get an understanding of whether Facebook ads is going to work for you. So at the end of all of that, our ad has been seen 100,000 times. We've had 1,000 people click on the ad and take some sort of action. Then 3% of that 1,000 people have then completed an inquiry, and we've picked up the phone, we've spoken to them, and we've converted a third of them into a customer, and we've now got 9 customers. So coming back to the example with the photographer, let's say we're charging £500 for an event. We've sold that 9 times, which is £4,500 of revenue, and we've been charged by Facebook £2,000. So now we're starting to see a 2-to-1 return on our money on average. Then when you start to appreciate that those 9 customers, they may well go and spend more money with you in future. So if your lifetime value of a customer was £1,000, then you can say, well, that sale has made us £9,000. That campaign has made us £9,000. for a cost to Facebook ads of £2,000. So do you see, hopefully you can start to see why it's important to understand your numbers before diving in straight into Facebook ads. So the next part of the process is you need to understand who you're targeting. Facebook has over 50,000 data points on all of us, and is actively targeting us based on those data points. So you can tap into most of those, or a lot of those, by understanding your ideal client, your ICA, ideal client avatar, persona, whatever you'd like to call it. So just understanding some basic demographics like age and gender, some interests, what their occupation is, where are they based. Most of you are going to be selling within a geographic area, but some of you might be able to distribute your product or service nationally. So obviously you can target on location. Location is an interesting one, and just a really quick point on location. Facebook gives you the opportunity to target people that live in an area or have recently been in an area. So if you're running your own campaigns, or you're going to do so in the future, just be a little bit aware of that one, because let's say you want to target people that live in London, but you've got your campaign set up incorrectly. You might be targeting people that live outside of London and are geographically showing their location as being in London. So you need to adjust that, whether you want people that have visited a location recently or live in a particular area. And then you can target interests as well. So, you know, hobbies, things they like doing. So these are the different audience types on Facebook. So you can have, as we've covered, demographic audiences based on age, gender, language. You can have geographic and location-based audiences, interests, like we said there. So hobbies, likes, and interests that they have, you can tap into. So if you're looking for, I don't know, you might be a chiropractor and you want to speak to golfers that live within 15 kilometers that are male, aged between about 40, everything starts going wrong. Isn't that right? Does everything start going wrong about 40? So you might want to talk to male golfers between the ages of 40 and 65, living within 15 kilometers of your practice. And you can do that, you know, with Facebook ads. You can get that targeted. And obviously like golf. And then you can do, and we'll come on to those in a second, but lookalike and custom audiences. Apologies, I'm going at a bit of breakneck speed, but I wanted to get through the slides just so we have time to quickly set up the campaign live. So a lookalike audience, let's say you've got 200 customers that you've served over the last couple of years. You can actually upload those customers to Facebook, and you can say to Facebook, go and find me more people like this. So they've spent money with you. You will know their email address, their name, maybe their home address, their phone number. You can upload all of that data as long as it's been obtained via GDPR. You can upload all of that data to Facebook, and you can say to Facebook, go and find me more people like this. So instead of you having to go through the steps to try and build your audiences from scratch based on your own kind of impressions, your own biases, you can say to Facebook, go and find me more people like this. So Facebook will take your list, and then it will match it up with the 50,000 or so data points that it has, and it will go and find you more people like your existing customers. And generally that gives you a much better click-through rate. It will find you a much better quality of click, because not all clicks are equal. Facebook will look for things like, spending patterns. It will look for online habits, engagement, and it will just go and find you more people like that. The other type of audience you can set up on Facebook is what's called a custom audience. And that's where you can take people that have interacted with your business in some way on Facebook and on your website, and you can do what's called retargeting them. So let's say you put up a little video ad of your business, and you put it on your Facebook page, and it gets 2,000 views. Within Facebook, you can then retarget people that have seen your video and watched it for a period of time. So you would like to think, if you put, say, a 2-minute video onto your Facebook page and shared it in a bunch of groups and got some video views, you would like to think that the hottest prospects that you should be targeting next are the people that have watched, say, at least 50% of it. So they've watched 1 minute of you talking on screen or your business, and then you can retarget those people with another advert. And if we think about the middle of the funnel, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, you've taken somebody that's never seen anything on your business, has watched a minute of your video, and is now moving to that middle of the funnel where they start to become aware of who you are, and you want to then serve them with an ad that then takes them to the next step. It might be, you might want to serve them an offer or a discount or a voucher. So that's just some examples of what you can do. And also, we talked a little bit about the Facebook pixel. The Facebook pixel is a tracking piece of code that you put onto your website. And what it enables you to do is then retarget people that have a Facebook account, that have visited your website and maybe visited a particular page. So let's say we've got a jewelry seller. Let's say they've looked at a piece of jewelry. You can then serve them an ad that then reminds them that they've looked at that and haven't bought. So again, you can take people that are warmer to your brand and move them further down the funnel and hopefully drive some sales that way. So two different types of audiences. So just to very quickly recap there. So understand what you're selling. What's your overall goal for running Facebook ads? Do you know your critical numbers? How does your sales funnel look? So do you understand the steps that customers are going to go through? And, do you or can you track, what the conversion rates are? We can all probably say if we got 50 phone calls, we'd like to think we'll close, at least 50% of them. But do you know that? Do you know that exactly? And who's your audience? Who are you trying to reach on Facebook? Facebook ads will work to some extent for, I would say, 95% of businesses. There isn't really a business that it won't work for in some capacity, and whether that's to raise awareness or retarget people that have visited your website, Facebook ads will work. How are we doing for time, Debs?
It's 11 o'clock, so we're fine. We've got half an hour yet, so that's fine.
Oh, have we? Oh, wow. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Stop the presentation. And then I'm just going to take you through a campaign that I'm going to set up. And it's one that I was going to do today anyway. So it's probably quite timely. So how have we found that so far? I've sort of kind of been going at break.
So people have said it's important to have a clear process, which they didn't have any idea about that. Gail says selling is such a daunting science. So true. A few comments so far.
I think that's an interesting one.
Says it's brilliant.
Comparing it to a science. I just compare it to a jigsaw, and all you're trying to do is complete a fairly basic jigsaw puzzle. And the sort of things you want to understand is, are you reaching the right audience? So have you got that little bit of the puzzle sorted out? Have you got photographs that are engaging with your target audience? That's another little piece of the puzzle. The copy that you write, we've got one or two copywriters on the call. Is your copy impactful enough to get people to take action? So that, there's various sort of parts.
Yeah, there's different pieces, isn't there, to the puzzle that you
So the best piece of advice I got in this process was try not to complicate it. Try and sort one piece of the puzzle at a time. If you try and do all at once, you're just not going to know what's causing your campaigns to not convert. So just treat it like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to just go into my ads manager, and I've got a couple of things that I want to show you. Sorry, I'm just going to move this box. You get those floating toolbars. I've got toolbars everywhere. So this is, let me just close this down. So when you set up your Facebook Business Manager, and then when you start running campaigns and you start to set up your first ads, this is the screen that we're in here. I don't want you to get too sort of blown away by all the numbers and figures on the screen. This is your Facebook Ads Manager, and this is where you can start to control and look and learn about all the campaigns that you're running. So before we dive into creating the first ad, I just wanted to just show you a couple of things. So Right at the top here, we've got, it says ebook lead gen lookalike. Okay, so that is a campaign that I'm running to encourage people to download an ebook that I'm offering for tradespeople and people that run trades businesses. It's a definitive guide to marketing your trades business. It's a 26-page document, and as a giveaway, I think it's highly attractive, and it's enabling me to very quickly build a warm list of people that I can continue to market to. So just reading across the line, this is an active campaign that I've got running at the moment. So over the last, it's been running only for a couple of days. Over the last couple of days, 12 people have downloaded this lead magnet. The ad has been seen just over once. So every person has seen the ad at least once. A few might have seen it once or twice. Each download of the ebook, so each person that's now added into my list that have had my ebook, been invited to my Facebook group, has had some valuable content from me, I've paid £2.27. Now, I don't know what the general consensus is. Some of you might think, wow, that's really expensive, or some of you might be thinking, wow, that's really cheap. Whatever side of the fence you're on, at the end of the day, I've now got that customer. They've had some value from me.
But you know what your lead value is per customer, and I think this is where people have to understand that. And a customer to you will generate more. You know, that £2.27 is money well spent. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. So in total, that campaign has cost me £27 over the last 48 hours. It's running at £25 a day. It's not quite spending that much each day. And these are short-term, tactical campaigns that I'm running. What the ad actually looks like physically, just so you can see, is it's a really simple ad with a really straightforward call to action. But the important thing is, right at the top of the ad, it calls out my target customer. So it stops them in their tracks, stops them scrolling. Do you run a trades business? If you don't, you're going to keep on scrolling by. If you do, it's asked a question, so you're going to carry on reading. Want to start charging what you're worth? Grab our free 26-page ebook for trades. Helps you market your business better locally. And then you can see the creative is just really simple. I've done a mock-up of what it will look like on a tablet. There's a couple of little call outs. The important thing with images, Facebook ads, you can't have more than 25% overlaid with text. So you just have to be careful of that. It will restrict the reach of your ads. I just wanted to show, we spoke just briefly about testing different things. So directly below the live campaign that I've got running, and it's in live because you can see the green dot. I had another campaign running last week, which I turned off because I wasn't happy with the performance. And you can see, although I got 18 downloads, so 18 added to the list, it came at a cost of nearly twice what I was paying. So the cost of the campaign was running at 100% higher than the campaign that I've got running at the moment. So instead of making loads and loads of changes, all I did was just change just two things. So I kept it going to the same audience, the same lookalike audience, and I thought I would just show you what the ad looks like, the old ad. So there's a few things at play here. Number one, I think there's probably quite a lot of text. So I've changed it to just 4 lines of text. The image as well, it's not so clear. It's on a phone. It's maybe an older smartphone, and it's you have to really sort of scan it to look and see what it is. Whereas that is really, really clear. The title is really clear because it's now shown on a tablet device. There's little call outs, re-emphasizing elements of the copy. So you can see just by making some just little tweaks, and I wouldn't necessarily always say change 2 things at once, but those 2 things have then resulted in a much more attractive cost per result of this campaign. So hopefully this is starting to sort of, fit the jigsaw together for you and the different things that you just need to think about. And it's not as scary as what you might think it is. It's just getting in there, getting your first ad live, following some of the best practices, run your first ad, see what it does, and see what lessons you can learn, and see what you can change to then go again. And then just so you know the full sort of part of the funnel, this is the landing page that people drop onto when they click the ad. This is the page that they will go on to. So there's an element, there's something called keep the scent. So what you want to do with your Facebook ads is make sure that the pictures that you use are very, very similar to the pictures that are shown on your landing page. So if you're showing, you know, let's say you're going after new brides because you want to sell your wedding packages, then make sure that the image that they see on Facebook is the same image that they see when they land on your Facebook page. It just keeps the scent, it keeps that familiarity going. Make sure that the language is consistent. And don't be afraid to, you know, and again, with the copywriters in the room, to try and use some impactful urgency creating words. So download instantly now. You know, that says to me, if I put my details in, when we click that button, you go through there, I'm going to get something straight away. I'm not going to have to wait 10 minutes for something to come through or click something else or go through another step. It's just all these subtle indicators that you know, that increase your conversion rates at various parts of your sales funnel. So with that in mind, I was just going to very quickly walk you through how I would go about setting up a campaign. So what I want to do is show this lead magnet, this ebook that I've created. I want to now show it to very specific trades. So I'm going to go after electricians and electrical contractors. So the first step I'm going to do is click the create button. Now the first thing you see when you click the create button is Facebook asks you what's your marketing objective for this particular campaign. And these are really straightforward. When I first started to learn Facebook ads, this felt quite daunting with so many different ad types. You know, which one do I choose? But really, for most businesses, there's only going to be 2 or 3 ad types that you're going to need to consider for your business, maybe 3 or 4. So brand awareness is the cheapest form of traffic on Facebook. It will just show your ad to the widest possible audience, the highest possible reach. And it doesn't mean to say you're going to get tons of engagement or you're going to get people converting off the back of your ads. Facebook will just show it to a really broad audience. Similar thing with reach. It just goes after a really, really broad audience. But the difference between the two is brand awareness will just be more targeted to people that have shown or indicated to Facebook that they're interested in your product or service through their own interests and habits. The next one is traffic, and that's the one that we're going to do today. So the purpose is we want to target people on Facebook that show more intent to click on an ad and visit the brand's website or app. So the one that we're going to go after today is traffic, but then you get different types of ads. So you might have heard people talking about boosting posts. This is Facebook ads terminology for boosting. It's to get more engagements and page likes. So if you've got a new Facebook page and you want to get people to like your page, then you want to run a PPE, a page post engagement ad. And that's what this particular type of ad does. And then there's loads of others. So app installs. So if you've got an app, you can get people that show interest in apps. So you can take them through to the iTunes store. Video views. So if you want to run a video ad, you can set up a very specific video ad. Lead generation. So again, just, you know, this is really handy when you're on this part of the screen, because Facebook just gives you a little overview of what that ad does. So have a look at those, you know, when you set up your business manager and your Facebook ads account. But for this particular one, we're going to do a traffic ad. So my intent is I want to get more people to click and visit this page, because I know that this page is converting at around about, I think it's about 35%. So 35% of the people that land on this page will download my lead magnet and give me their details. So we're going to do a traffic ad. I'm just going to move this floating toolbar, which is taking up a bit of room. There we go. So I'm going to run a traffic ad. The next thing I need to do is give the campaign a title. So we're going to call it ebook. We're going to be going after electricians, and it's a traffic ad. Try and sort of come up with a little naming convention, because it just keeps your Facebook Ads Manager nice and tidy. We're going to run a split test. So we're going to test the creative. So do you remember I showed you that there's two different ads that run two different creatives? So we're going to test the creatives. And then what Facebook will do is show the ad to an equal number of people, and then Facebook will start to learn which of the creatives more people like. So the traffic, choose where we want it to go. So we want it to go to our website. We're gonna, the variable that we're gonna test is the creative. And we're gonna need to start to build up some audiences. So we need to start to target people based on some interest. So the first thing I want to do is just make sure that the location setting is correct. It's not worldwide. Yeah, this lead magnet is applicable to everybody. So I just want to make sure that it's United Kingdom. Okay. I'm not interested in 18-year-olds. Most tradespeople I know that are running their own business are at least 25 or over, and I just want to keep that audience quite tight, and I want to go 25 to 50. I've got no interest in targeting by gender, because having worked for a company that supplies to trades, we had about 20% were tradeswomen, so I'll let Facebook do the work. I'm not interested in gender. Languages, we'll leave that one clear. I don't need to target people based on their language. And then this is where we can then start to type in some interests and job titles. So the first one it gives me is Master Electrician. So we'll have that. And then there's a handy little feature, which is suggestions. So based on my initial choice, Facebook then starts to give me some other job titles. So I'm just going to put in 2 or 3. A chief electrician, didn't even know that existed, but some people obviously use that. Industrial electrician, electrical contractor. So I've just got a few now that started to build in. So it started to build a little bit of an audience for me. I wouldn't, if you're going to test different audiences, I wouldn't put too many different interests together, mainly because if your ads are working really well, you're not really going to understand what part of that audience is working really well. So I would generally test maybe by profession, because you can do other things. So there's other indicators that somebody might be running their own business, because they will have an interest in Wix. So we might be able to add that on, but I wouldn't do that at this stage, because I just want to see if electrical contractors are interested in that lead magnet. And if I do want to do some more testing further down the line, I can do that. Okay, so now we've got electricians aged 25 to 50, based in the UK, both men and women. And that's what Facebook is going to start to show my ads to. And I can save that audience. So we'll call that electricians. And we'll save that audience, because I might want to use it again. Now, this is where we can start to make some choices about our campaign. So now we've decided on our audience, we can decide where we want to place these ads. For this particular one, I'm going to choose manual placements. Obviously, part of the Facebook ads network, it can show your ads in a multitude of places, Messenger, Instagram, their own audience network, and of course the Facebook timeline that we're all very familiar with. I'm going to switch off Instagram, and I'm going to switch off Messenger. and I'm going to switch off audience network. So the only place I really want my ads showing is on the Facebook ads platform. The reason is because I've done testing before, and I find most of my customers aren't really hanging out so much on Instagram or Messenger. They're on the Facebook timeline. So that's where I want to show my ads. All mobile devices, that's fine. And then the next thing is we just want to show how we want to deliver our campaign. What do we want to optimize it for? So are we looking for link clicks? We'll deliver your ads to the people who are most likely to click on them. Or do we want landing page views, are more likely to click on your ads and load the website and engage further? Or do we just want to show it to the most number of people possible? For this, I want landing page views. I'm not interested in people that are going to click on the ad, maybe read a little bit more before they take intent, before they take the next step. I want to focus on people that are going to click on my landing page. Daily budget, just be wary. Facebook will always encourage you to spend more. It's obviously how they earn their money. If you're running a split test like we're going to be running, don't forget that your budget is going to be split between the two different ads. So whatever budget you put in. So for this, I'm going to put in £40. So each ad, each test that I run is going to get £20 on average spent on it. And I'm going to run it for 4 days, and this is going to cost me £160. Now I'm doing this because I want to build a community. I want to build a list, and I want to start warming these prospects up. So for me, that is a good investment. You need to work out in your own world how much you want to spend on ads based on what your objectives are. So now we've started to, so we've built our audience. We've built the metrics of the campaign and the goals of the campaign. Because I run a few different client accounts, I'm going to make sure that that my page is selected. We're just going to go with a single image. Obviously with Facebook ads, you know, I didn't really go into, because we didn't really have time, again, loads of different ad types in Facebook. So you can have a carousel that shows multiple products. You can have a collection of images, or you can just have a single image or video. We're going to keep it simple for this one, and we're just going to have a single image. And down here, this is where I'm going to add my first image. And as you'll see, Facebook stores images that you've used previously. So we're going to test this one, which I know is working at the moment, but on the much broader campaign. And then in a second, we'll get a chance to add the next image in our test. So the first thing we want to do, it's prompting me to put in the destination URL. So now your ad is starting to get built. It's starting to look like a proper advert. You can choose the different calls to action. So on this particular one, because they can't download the book straight away, it doesn't give you the option for download, but it does give you the option for learn more, which, as you can see in the list, is probably the most appropriate one. So we're going to click on that, so it shows the learn more button. Now you get the option of completing a few details, and for speed, I am going to just copy and paste what we've got in there, and we're going to drop it in there. So because I know that text is working, so I don't really want to run any other tests. That particular test I know is working, and I also know that hopefully I can grab that text, that this piece of text is also working. So that is shown in the headline. Get rid of that. Okay, so all I want to do on this particular test that I'm running is just test a different audience. I know that the call to action is working. I know that the text is working. And I know that that particular image seems to resonate with the audience. I've got my Facebook pixels switched on. So that means anyone that's visiting the website, I can continue to track them. And then the last part, and then we're nearly there, is I just want to say to Facebook, can you show a different image? So we're going to try let's just pick this one. This is, this might resonate with them. It looks like it's a phone on a seat. It could be in a cab of a van, although it is a little bit clean for it to be a builder's van or a tradesman's van. But so that's the different creative that I'm going to test. So the test that I'm running is to see which image is more likely to prompt somebody to click on the ad than the other one. And then I can start to sort of understand which particular image matches with the audience. So the audience that I'm testing is electricians. And in a second, once we hit submit, we should hopefully see. There was an option there. I could have tested another ad, so I could have used another image. But for now, we'll just go with this. So that's how we build a campaign from scratch. So you'll see I've got my active campaign running at the top, which is there. Let's just give it a little refresh. So you can see in the time that we've been talking, I've had another download of that, and that's brought my cost per result down to nearly £2, which is phenomenal. I mean, if you approached a data company and said, I want to buy data, you'd struggle to get decent data for £2. So it's working really well. And you can see now that I've got my scheduled ad, which Facebook reviews all ads before they go live. Sometimes it can take 30 minutes. In the past, it's taken up to 24 hours. So Facebook will review that, and then it will show as live. And then basically what I can then do is start to understand by looking at the numbers. I'm pointing at my screen. I don't know why, because you can't see that. But I can start to understand which campaign is starting to work really well. At the ad set level, this is where your audiences are. And again, I can sort of start to see which audience is performing best. And then I can see which advert is starting to perform best. So that's just a really quick kind of screen share of showing how to set up a Facebook ad and a quick run through. The final thing, just before we finish, I've just got a couple of other quick slides to share with you, 2 minutes, and then we are done. Okay, so we've done the setting up of the first campaign. What I would advise you to do is start to create your ads, set up your campaigns, and then run the tests as I've demonstrated to you there. Test different audiences, test with different interests or demographics, test different creatives. So what photographs, and you can test as many as you like, and then test the copy. And then when you've got a winning combination, you've got a winning ad, you just want to keep going at it. You just want to keep those ads live that are performing well, keep monitoring them. If they start to drop off, which Facebook ads can do, then look at, see ways that you can reinvigorate those ads that are performing well. Look at the data. So what's working well, what isn't, what needs fixing. Remember what we were saying about the jigsaw puzzle. These are all just little pieces. If your ads have stopped performing, it might be that the image just doesn't resonate with people, or you've changed an image on your landing page, and it's not keeping the scent from your Facebook ad through to your landing page. And then learn and adjust as you go. Make 1 or 2 very small changes step by step, and measure and see how that improves things. Couple of quick tools that you can use. So Hotjar is a funnel analysis piece of software. It sounds scarier than what it is, but basically, we put a little piece of code onto your website, and you can start to measure visually. You can start to see different stages of your sales funnel. So you can see mine there is a really easy 2-step funnel. So they land on the page and then they download it. So that page converts at just under 30% at the moment. I think I said 35% earlier. But I think that will go up over the next couple of days with the latest campaign that I'm running. So I know if I send 100 people to my landing page, 30 of them will download something. And if I can spend £200 to get 30 great quality prospects that I can then warm up, that's got to be money well spent. And then the last tool that I just wanted to tell you about, if you're looking for inspiration, you can always use the Facebook ads library. And what this does is it shows you, part of their transparency, but it shows you what ads are being run by some bigger brands. And if you've got some local competition and you want to see if they're running any ads, then you can go in there, type in their name of their Facebook page, and it will show you what ads are running. And you might be able to get some inspiration from them. You might be able to just get some clues as to what's working well for them. If the ads have been running for a long time, that would be a good indicator that there's a good match between, you know, the image, the copy, the call to action, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. There was so much information to cram in. I really apologize if I've been going at breakneck speed. Debbie's been obviously recording this, so it will be available, I'm sure, for a playback. But I just wanted to take you through just as much of the stuff that you need to know. And probably the most important one being is to really understand your numbers. You know, if you're selling widgets at £4 or £5, and you're brand new and there's a lot of competition, the chances are Facebook ads are going to be very expensive for you and you're not going to make any money. But if you're a local business selling services to people in your local area and your average customer, your average sale is maybe £500, and then maybe the lifetime value of that customer is, let's say, £1,000, then Facebook ads can absolutely work for you if done right. So I'm happy for anybody to book in a 30-minute discovery call, and I will happily have a chat with you. I've got a link which I'll drop in the chat, but also send to Debbie. If you want a bit more time and you want a bit more of an in-depth discussion and a bit more advice and strategy, I can do a £99 power hour. And the great thing is I'm not VAT registered at the moment, so it is £99. And then I also manage client Facebook ads for them from £297 a month. But then obviously your ad spend is on top of that. So hopefully that's been really interesting for you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen there. And I obviously haven't been able to sort of see the chat as I've been going through.